Welcome back, everybody. So we are going to continue work here on the diesel crew cab conversion project that I got going on. Our big project now is the fueling system. Yesterday, I got both of the tanks out of this truck. These trucks are kind of cool in the fact that they come with 2 tanks and a fuel selector switch inside the truck on the dash. While I was doing all my research on this project, I was considering if maybe I should just keep these 2 tanks and convert everything to diesel. But there's a lot of work in that, and the fuel selector switch that's down underneath the truck has a lot of issues, and with time that gets worse, so I decided just to eliminate all of this and go with 1 tank. So here's the tank that I went with. This tank is actually pretty neat. So this is from a company called Classic Diesel Designs. Located in Texas there, obviously. They were one of the only sites that I could find that had a reputable tank that had all of the equipment that I needed. This tank is labeled as the F26E, which you can find for most of this generation truck, but this one is specific. I emailed these guys and I gave them the conundrum of my whole project here, and I told them that I was switching from a gas to a diesel truck, and they said this tank will work perfect. All you have to do is wire this in here to your fuel selector switch, or not the switch, sorry, the gauge, the fuel gauge. It'll have the gauge work inside the dash. The other neat thing that I opted for this tank here is there's a sump on the bottom. And for those of you who aren't familiar with a sump, obviously it attaches here on the bottom of the tank. So this is gravity fed. All of the fuel goes into the lines here and then up to the engine itself. I really like these. They make it so you use every ounce of fuel in your tank, and they also make draining the tank really simple. Undo this bolt here and then drain it all out. These are really nice, and I wanted to get one for my old truck, but I never really got around to it. So this tank is a 38-gallon tank, which is really nice because the other 2 tanks, one is a 19 and one is an 18. So this tank by itself is bigger than both of those combined, which I'm really excited for. Alright guys, so it's been a little while since I recorded last, and I haven't really done a lot in between the time of doing the fuel pump, or sorry, the fuel tank and all that. But I did order a kit from Diesel Conversion Specialists, which is a huge thing that I needed because it's basically what helps make this engine run in this truck. There's still a couple things that I need to order from them, but I will show you guys all the stuff that I got and the things that I've installed so far. There's a few things that I can't really install yet, but I'll show you real quick. Okay, so here it is right now. In the kit, one of the biggest things was this exhaust manifold. I believe it's a two-piece that just helps so it doesn't crack from expanding and shrinking over time. And it also helps relocate the turbo so it's not hitting the AC stuff. So that's all installed. The only thing I don't have yet is the wastegate actuator kit from DCS. I still need to get that so it puts the wastegate on the back end of the turbo so it's easier for clearance and whatnot. One thing I did have to do was the oil feed line I had to swap. So this end was actually on the turbo. So I swapped them around so it would fit under here because this one's just straight up and down. And this new manifold doesn't really like that. So I got that on there. Another thing that we had to do was we had to clock the turbo. The inlet right here was way down here. And also the oil feed line has to be on the top and the drain line has to be down on the bottom. This was also part of the kit, was this oil drain tube. Goes down there into the block and in the bottom of the turbo. So that's all working good. I just need that wastegate actuator, and then the exhaust side for now is pretty much done. Another piece of the kit was this thermostat housing, because the original one, the housing would come out here and then go up, and this one's just better for more applications. So it comes with this housing, a new thermostat, and then there's this little alternator bracket. I didn't realize I needed this until I was going to put it back on, but basically it spaces it out here so the alternator bracket can bolt into this. Takes a little hammering, but it's not bad at all. And then there's a bunch of little sensors that they send with too. First of all, there's this one. This is the coolant sensor. I have them all duct taped off right now just because I don't know when I'm going to get back to this. And then, well, that one's just duct tape. So coolant sensor here, and then there's the oil pressure sensor right here. I have that taped off. That's part of the DCS kit. The rest of the stuff in the kit here, this is a big piece that I haven't started on yet. This is the regulator kit for the alternator. You have the option to buy a one-wire alternator on their site, but I chose not to do that because this was cheaper. Basically, you just run a little regulator kit to the back of the alternator, and I believe it hooks up here to the starter solenoid. So that's pretty simple. I just haven't done it yet. Another big part of the kit that I haven't even touched yet is the swap helper. This will help all of the tach stuff, all of the gauges in the truck will work with the 12 valve, but I haven't dived into this at all yet. It should be interesting. I'm not super good with wiring, but it has a huge packet here of instructions, so that should be helpful. And then lastly in this kit, there's the sensor adapters, which I kind of touched on. There's some vacuum sensors on here that I haven't gotten to yet. And then there's the power steering coupling kit that I haven't gotten to, but basically you have to cut a little bit of the power steering line and then adapt this to it. So that will probably be in part of the next episode. This is kind of the beginning of the harder part of the build, because they say like the 10% of the build takes the longest, which is the little things. So a couple of the major things that I still need to get are the turbo actuator kit, which I already mentioned, the wastegate. There is a AC bracket here from Carrick Customs that moves AC pump up to here. And then, but the problem with that is it makes it so this oil fill is too big. So I got to figure out where to get one of those shorter ones where the fill cap is more down here. What else do I need to get? We got to figure out the throttle linkage. My engine didn't come with the springs down here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but basically there's a spring kit that comes with the throttle, and you can buy it, but it's like $1,200, and I don't really want to spend that much money on some springs. So I'm going to figure out something for that. That's a big thing that I need to get figured out. And then probably the largest piece is the intercooler. I'm going to be using the gas core support and the gas radiator. So looking at DCS's website, they suggest you get a first gen intercooler, 93 and 90, or 91 and 93. So I'm probably gonna end up doing that, and then we can start plumbing all of that. I know this is probably a lot of mumbo jumbo, but figured I'd give you guys a little update on what's going on with the crew cab. It's a lot of work. We're getting close to the end. Hopefully there's not too many more episodes of this, and then we'll have this running. But all this stuff is expensive, and I'm just regular Joe like you guys, so gotta wait for paychecks to purchase these things. But until then, I hope you guys enjoy this little series that I have going so far, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.